The Senate will please come to order. I ask all members to please take their seats and the guests to please clear the aisles. The clerk will unlock the machine for the purpose of recording attendance for the previous legislative session. Clerk will please unlock the machine. If all members have recorded their attendance, the clerk will lock the machine. There are 35 members present. There is a quorum. Leader Pearson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we adjourn the prior legislative day session.
Leader Pearson moves that we adjourn the prior legislative session. Seconded by Senator Dela Cruz. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The legislative session of June 15th is adjourned. The clerk will unlock the machine for the purpose of recording attendance for today's legislative session. If all members have recorded their attendance, the clerk will lock the machine. There are 35 members present. There is a quorum. I'd ask all members and their guests to please rise for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance to be led today by Senator John P. Burke, representing the town of West Warwick. Senator Burke.
Thank you, Mr. President. Almighty Father, as the new year begins, let us continue the work of our previous session. We ask that you bestow a special blessing of good health and happiness on each member of this chamber and their families. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Senator Burke. First order of business is a reading of the previous day's journal. The clerk will please read.
State of Rhode Island, Journal of the Senate, January session of the General Assembly.
Senator Burke.
Mr. President, I move that the further reading of the journal be dispensed with and the journal be accepted as printed.
Senator Burke moves that further reading of the journal be dispensed with it and that the journal be accepted as printed. Hearing no objection, so ordered. Next order of business is an address by me. I want to wish all my colleagues a Happy New Year, all our staff a Happy New Year, and all the Rhode Islanders who are watching this a Happy New Year. I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday season. Today we reconvene to continue our work on behalf of the people of the state of Rhode Island. We've had a number of changes here over the last session, and I want to take a moment to congratulate our new majority leader, Senator Valerie Lawson, a majority whip, I'm sorry. I saw a little concern on the face of Leader Pearson. Val has served with great distinction in this chamber since she was elected in 2018. She's been a valued member of our leadership team, and I relied on her counsel on a number of issues during the past few sessions. I think she'll be an absolute asset to this Senate as far as policy and the politics are concerned. I know she has earned the respect and the admiration of all the people in this chamber. While no one can replace our good friend, Senator Mary Ellen Goodwin, I know that Senator Lawson will make an excellent majority whip. I want to acknowledge the newest member of the chamber, someone who we know very well, and that's Senator Jacob Basilian. Jake was sworn in December, and he's been a major contributor over the past couple sessions because he has been the Chief of Staff to the President of the Senate. He's dedicated to the highest ideals of public service, and as the new senator representing District 1, I know he will carry on Whip Goodwin's legacy of service and advocacy. Welcome to the chamber, Jake. I additionally want to acknowledge and congratulate John Fleming, the new Senate Chief of Staff to the President of the Senate. I have tremendous confidence in each of the individuals and in all the senators and staff members to provide the guidance and leadership we need as the Senate continues to work to improve the state of Rhode Island. We had much to celebrate in 2023. Together, we established a new $50,000 tangible property tax exemption, eliminating a significant burden for 75% of the businesses in the state of Rhode Island, and those are all small businesses. We made major progress toward addressing lead safety hazard in homes and put Rhode Island on track to replace all lead water pipes within the next decade. We continued our historic work to address Rhode Island's housing crisis and our efforts to strengthen our early childhood system. In 2024, our focus will remain on the critical areas of health care, education, and housing. It is critical that we focus on ensuring the strength of our community hospitals, attracting and retaining primary care physicians, and ensuring all Rhode Islanders can access quality health care. That includes taking steps to address Medicaid reimbursement rates, an area especially important to each and every member of this body. I am grateful for the leadership of Chairman Louis DePalma on this particular issue. We will redouble our efforts to strengthen the workforce in healthcare and education and creating new pathways to careers in these essential fields. Over the past several years, as Rhode Island has dealt with COVID and then inflation, this chamber prioritized putting money back into the hands of struggling Rhode Islanders and residents and small businesses. We will continue exploring ways to provide relief to Rhode Islanders as we did with the car tax phase-out and the tangible tax. We also have some unfinished business that we have to address. This year, I am committed to enacting sensible, meaningful reforms to the Law Enforcement Officers' Bill of Rights, fulfilling the mission of the Senate Task Force led by former Senator Harold Metz. And we will work to enact Whip Lawson's proposal to expand the TCI insurance to 12 weeks. This is extremely important to Rhode Island families. Rhode Islanders used to be a national leader on paid family leave. We will be a leader in that endeavor soon. As you know, we have many challenges to face and many priorities to balance. There will be difficult decisions to make. But while the historic federal pandemic funding may be nearing an end, Rhode Island is on firm footing thanks to the prudent spending approach we have taken. We directed our one-time pandemic funding towards one-time expenditures, making important investments in our future without creating new long-term obligations. Additionally, to prepare for future uncertainty, we have strengthened our reserves with a new supplemental rainy day fund. It is crucial that Rhode Island long-term fiscal health remains a central consideration, even as we address today's needs. I look forward to this session and working together with each of you to make Rhode Island an even better place to live and work. I thank you very much for everything you've done, and I look forward to everything that you're going to do in the future. The next order of business is committee reports and communications. Are there any of either? To the Honorable Senate, I have the honor to inform you that I administered on the 8th day of December, AD 2023, the oath of office to Jacob Basilian of Providence as Senator of District 1. Please place that on file. To the Honorable Senate, pursuant to Rule 12 of the Rules of the Senate Democratic Caucus, I am making the following appointments for the year 2024. Senator Valerie J. Lawson, Senate Majority Whip. Senator Melissa A. Murray, Deputy Majority Whip. Please place that on file. To the Honorable Senate, pursuant to Section 5.2 of the Senate Rules, I am making the following appointments Senate Committee on Judiciary, Senator Jacob E. Basilian. Senate Committee on Special Legislation and Veterans Affairs, Senator Jacob E. Basilian. Senate Committee on Rules, Government, Ethics, and Oversight, Senator Jacob E. Basilian. Please place that on file. To the Honorable Senate, pursuant to Section 5.4 of the Senate Rules, entitled Offices of Committees, I am making the following appointments. Senate Committee on Health and Human Services, Senator Pamela J. Lauria, Secretary. Senate Committee on Special Legislation and Veterans Affairs, Senator Jacob E. Basilian, Secretary. Senate Committee on Rules, Government, Ethics, and Oversight, Senator Samuel D. Zuria, Vice Chair. Senator Jonathan Acosta, Secretary. Please place that on file. To the Senate President, effective today, January 2nd, 2024, I hereby resign my position as Secretary of the Senate. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions. Sincerely, John E. Fleming, Jr. Please place that on file. And we'll get back to that in a moment. Dear Mr. President, please be advised that on Tuesday, January 2nd, 2024, I will be absent from the Senate chamber. I would appreciate you recording my letter in the appropriate Senate journal. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Sincerely, Frank H. Chacon III, Senate District 7. Please place that on file. Appointment by the Governor. His Excellency the Governor transmits the following appointment and requests the advice and consent of the Senate. The appointment of Neil D. Steinberg as Chair of the Life Sciences Hub of Rhode Island for a term expiring January 1st, 2028, Senate Committee on Finance. Appointment by the Governor. His Excellency the Governor transmits the following appointment and requests the advice and consent of the Senate. The appointment of Lauren A. Burgess, Esquire, Vice Scott A. Jones, to the Quonset Development Corporation for a term expiring January 1st, 2025, Senate Committee on Commerce. Appointment by the Governor. His Excellency the Governor transmits the following appointment and requests the advice and consent of the Senate. The appointment of Simon J. Wood, Vice Bernard Bonanno III, to the Rhode Island Commerce Corporation for a term expiring February 1st, 2027, Senate Committee on Commerce. Appointment by the Governor. His Excellency the Governor transmits the following reappointments and requests the advice and consent of the Senate. The reappointments of Michael Hutchinson for a term expiring January 1st, 2027, Diane Lynch for a term expiring January 1st, 2029, Jonathan Rainier for a term expiring January 1st, 2029, and Jane Bevan Lindsay for a term expiring January 1st, 2029, to the Agricultural Lands and Preservation Commission, Senate Committee on Environment and Agriculture. Appointment by the Governor. His Excellency the Governor transmits the following appointments and requests the advice and consent of the Senate. The appointments of Joanne Riccitelli, Vice, Everett Stewart for a term expiring January 1st, 2026. Charles B. Abbott, Esquire, Vice, David Wallace for a term expiring January 1st, 2026. And Jane L. Murner, Vice, Martha Neal for a term expiring January 1st, 2025. To the Agricultural Lands and Preservation Commission, Senate Committee on Environment and Agriculture. And that concludes committee reports and communications. The next order of business is the election of the Secretary of the Senate. Are there any nominations? President Gallo.
Mr. President, colleagues, I rise proudly to nominate Helena Reed as the Secretary of the Senate. Ms. Reed has served the chamber for several years with great distinction. She is a deeply valued member of our staff with extensive experience as a manager of projects, time, and people. As Executive Assistant for the Senate, her dedication and meticulous attention to detail have been instrumental in ensuring that the Senate runs smoothly across a wide range of operations. She is deeply connected to this chamber and was especially close to the family of Whip Mary Ellen Goodwin. and she is uniquely qualified to fill this important position. I urge all of my colleagues to support her appointment.
Senator Gallo moves the appointment of Helena Reed as the Secretary of the Senate. Is there a second? Senator Coyne.
Mr. President, I rise to second the nomination of Helena Reed as Secretary of the Senate. Helena's ties to the Rhode Island Senate go back decades to when she volunteered for the campaign of former Senator Thomas Goodwin in the 1970s. She joined the Senate staff as executive assistant in 2014, and in the years that followed, has successfully undertaken a wide range of responsibilities in a fast-paced and often challenging environment. Prior to joining the Senate staff, Helena worked at the Rhode Island Airport Corporation, the Jones Payne Group in Warwick, Weil Laboratories in Virginia, and Bank Boston. In addition to the many professional certifications she holds, she's a graduate of Providence College, CCRI, and Williams College. Mr. President, I'm proud to second the nomination of Helena Reed as Secretary of the Senate, and I urge my colleagues to give their support.
Thank you, Senator Coyne. Senator Coyne seconds the appointment of Helena Reed as Secretary of the Senate. Is there additional seconds? Second by Senator Lombardi, Senator Basilian, Senator Mack, Senator Gu, Senator Zoria, Senator DeMario, Senator Brito, Senator Sosnowski, Senator DePalma, Senator Miller, Senator Oya, Leader Pearson, Whip Lawson, Senator Felag, Senator Dela Cruz, Senator Cano, Senator Coleman. I know it was Senator Coleman. Trying to get the guy in back. Senator Rogers. I'm sorry. Senator Morgan. It's been a while. Senator Paolino. Senator McKinney. Senator Burke, Senator Bell, Senator DeLuca, Senator Raptakis, Senator LaMountain, Senator Loria, Senator Ujafusa, Senator Valverde, Senator Murray, and Senator Casada. All those in favor of the election of Secretary of the Senate for Helena Reed, the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members indicated their vote? Clerk will lock the machine. There were 35 members in favor, none opposed. The election of the Secretary of the Senate for Helena Reed is approved. I now call on Secretary of State Gregor Maury to administer the oath of office to the Secretary of the Senate-elect Helena Reed. Mr. Secretary.
Nice to see you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Good afternoon. Happy New Year to everyone. Helena, if you could raise your right hand. Do you, Helena Reed, as Secretary of the Senate, solemnly swear that you will be true and faithful to this state of Rhode Island, that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution and laws of this state, and that you will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of your office to the best of your abilities, according to law, so help you God? Congratulations. Have a good session. You got it.
At this time, we're going to revert back to introductions. Are there any introductions? Senator Lombardi.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, Senators, an introduction in order, please, Mr. President.
Please proceed, Senator.
First, before I make this introduction, I just want to say personally thank you to Helena for being my admin for the last few years. I say it all the time, the staff here makes our job that much easier, and you were above and beyond the greatest for me. Thank you so much. Well deserved. With that, it is my pleasure to introduce Helena's husband, Michael Reed, who's here in the chambers. Welcome to the Senate.
Thank you, Senator Lombardi. That brings us to new business. There is no new business. Next order of business, the approval of today's consent calendar, which there is not one of. And that brings us to today's regular calendar, which there is not a regular calendar. So now we go to announcements and/or introductions. Are there any of either? Chairwoman DeMario.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. An announcement?
Please proceed, Madam Chair.
Thank you. So I have two scheduling announcements. One is that the Permanent Joint Legislative Commission on Child Care will be meeting next Tuesday at 2:30 in room 101, and all are welcome to attend, especially if you're interested in any child care related legislation this session. Second, the Committee on Environment and Agriculture will be meeting next Tuesday, January 9th at 5 p.m. in the Senate Lounge. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chairman Felag.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Announcement, please.
Please proceed, Mr. Chairman.
The Finance Committee will be meeting Thursday at 5 p.m. in room 211. Your prompt attendance would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry. Senator Basilian.
Mr. President, invitation?
Please proceed, Senator.
We are amidst a historic opportunity to take a picture with a 14-foot gold leaf statue down on the first floor, and the Senate President thought it'd be fitting if we took a group photo and signed the guest book at this time after session. So Capitol TV will be down there to take a group photo of the Senate, and invite you all at the behest of the Senate President to join us.
Thank you, Senator. Is there any objection to transmitting adopted resolutions to the Honorable Secretary of State? All matters passed by the Senate to the Honorable House of Representatives, and all matters passed in concurrence to His Excellency the Governor. Hearing none, so ordered. The desk is now clear of business. I call on Leader Pearson for the purpose of.
Thank you, Mr. President. As Senator Brasilia mentioned, immediately after this, we will be heading down to the Independent Man, and we'd like to invite you up for some food this evening as well. With that, Mr. President, I move the Senate stand in recess.
Leader Pearson moves that the Senate be in recess, seconded by Senator De La Cruz. All those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The Senate stands in recess.